I will be right there after I've finished eating these rice snacks and drinking my tea. If you'd like to ask a question about anything, put question in brackets. It can be about the global situation, although I will refer to it as the global situation. It can be about Star Citizen. It can be about why Mantis has just gifted me a load of subs before the stream has properly started. Or at all. Thank you very much, Mantis. I mean, I don't want to turn you into a piece of meat, but you are one attractive mama. Thank you very much, Mantis. Very much appreciated. Oh, you star. And welcome, Mighty Kingfisher and Oppose Yusui and Alpaca Geddon. Alpaca Geddon. And it's cut off in weird ways. Ambrose Alpha. It's cut off in really weird ways on my screen. It's really hard to read. I can't read. You're a monster, Mantis. Making up for lost revenue due to the Bat Goddess Crusade. Is that the way we're referring to the global situation? Thank you very much for the bits, by the way. Can we just do this? We just go live? We just fine, right? Perfect. Hello, and welcome to one of my streams. Oh, I'm all over the place emotionally at the moment. My dad is sort of like moving into what we believe is palliative care now. He's got a nurse coming around daily, which is absolutely great. I was going a bit mad, so was my mother. We sort of like thought the NHS wasn't helping us properly. Well, I did. I think my mum's okay. But then they've started now, sort of getting him a scan in a couple of days, a CAT scan, which should be in a nice enclosed environment. So he's got low risk of contracting any global situation diseases. And we're moving him downstairs into a hospital bed in our house. We don't want to send him into hospital. We wouldn't anyway, even if there wasn't a global situation. because that's his wishes. Like I know that we know what he wanted, because when he had his original operation for his lung, he basically went, I don't want to go back to hospital if at all possible. Cool. And we respect that. He'd rather not know about anything that happened. But the CAT scan's a safe thing, because then he can actually respond to some treatment to give him better quality of life. Sort of like reducing the. So for people that don't know, the cancer for my father has moved to his brain. Is what they believe. So, pretty rough. It's something that I'll survive, and I'll be looking after my mother for a little while longer, and I'll obviously be looking after my father. Although we've got some really good help now from a nurse that will come twice a day by standard, by default, and a couple more times in the night if we need them as well, which is insanely great. And that's on the NHS, so you pay a little bit of money towards it. It's just a fraction of like £100 a week or something. It's entirely affordable. But yes, sorry. I'm sorry that I have been a downer recently, and that is because global situation, health problems with my family, which I think is understandable. But the sort of like gaming and Star Citizen and my YouTube channel and streaming and all that sort of stuff is my outlet. However, I will be talking about this sometimes, and I'm sorry if that sort of people are like, I'm here just for Star Citizen information. When I'm streaming, it's also about me, and I'll have a bit of a whine and piss and a moan about what's happening with my life, because I think it's good to be able to do that with other humans. And as I can't get out to see other humans, you're going to be the humans that I talk to, or at least some of them. So I genuinely hope everyone is doing as well as they can be, and that they're safe and inside. They haven't lost anyone. I had a really enjoyable stream with Salty Mike on Sunday. We did Answer the Call together with Detox as well. So Answer the Call is Salty Mike, the artist previously known as Twerks, sort of live podcast that he has with a specific topic. We moved around a few topics, but it was mostly 3.9 based, and it was good to chat. And we're gonna do some content together again in the future. Like he's someone I've previously really enjoyed playing games with, and we just sort of like fallen out of touch. I've sort of like become a little bit isolationist from other content creators, just because I work to very much my own schedule, and I want to pump stuff out. I found trying to work to other people's schedules, trying to get do work with someone else, especially when a lot of the content creators that I will talk to are in America, it's actually quite prohibitive. So like, and then obviously stuff happens, and you might not be able to meet up at the right times, and it's a lot of effort. So one of the other things that people may be aware of if they watch YouTubers complaining that they're although we are able to work as content creators and streamers, the YouTubers, especially YouTube monetization for ads, is like jumped off a cliff, and I suspect that's because there's less ads running, or less companies putting money in to run ads when people can't go out to get their products, and they're sort of like re-gearing where they have the sort of like money advertised, and they need to re-gear their ads and the way they sort of like get products to the consumer. So I suspect there's going to be a lull of a couple more weeks, and then probably companies may have responded a bit better to the situation in especially America and in Europe. I suppose mostly relevant to my viewer base, and then it might be a bit more on track, but sort of like revenues are around halved. But I monetize in lots of different ways, so I'm sensibly probably okay at the moment. A little bit worried because I'm taking on Zin as a full-time employee soon, but we'll see. But even if I have to make twice the amount of content, I should be able to do that, and that should be able to cover it. But if anyone wants to ask a question in chat with your question after it, that would be useful. I appreciate all the kind messages. I get a lot of emails and messages, especially on Twitch and Discord, about my dad, and I appreciate that. I'm doing all right, though. I mean, I might have a bit of a cry and a piss and a moan, like a genuine, if I break down at any point, in the next few weeks. I apologise. I'm bipolar, so I'm up and down. Sometimes I can deal with stuff that would be like devastating to someone pretty stoically. Other times, because I dropped a penny on the ground, I'll be sad, very sad. So I'm doing good. I'm doing good. That's what I'm trying to say. And don't worry about me. Hanathcom, thank you very much for the sub. I'm looking at playing some other games. So we're about to finish Borderlands 3, all the sort of like content and expansions for that. With me, with a group of friends that I play with regularly. And we've been playing a lot of Apex Legends. I like Apex. Good chill game. It's not chill. Quite high octane play. I enjoy it. I'm looking at Green Hell. People have seen Green Hell. Green Hell's got some co-op. And then after that, I might... what I would like to do for my community and anyone else that wants to join, set up a Rust server and every month give away a big Star Citizen ship and a prize for that. To get a bit more sort of community on the go as I'm preparing for a more playable Star Citizen in the future. So today I wanted to talk about us still waiting on 3.9, so we can talk about 3.9 features as well. Pillar Talk, we got a load of information from Pillar Talk about what CIG are currently working on, and stuff for 3.9 for that. Mantis asks, do you feel like sometimes Pillar Talk oversells the quarterly release? Yeah, but so I mean, they want it to look good and professional, and part of that is sort of like them talking about it and making stuff look as good as they can. So does it oversell it? Yeah, probably. Their marketing. So the fact that the way they release their quarterly patches with, and as I've said, sort of like the juxtaposed nature, or directly opposed, I suppose, nature rather than juxtaposed, directly opposed nature of it's an alpha, it's going to change, we're iterating on it, it's not the final thing, we're just going to get these mechanics in, and then we're going to iterate on them and have something good eventually, but we're waiting on loads of mechanics and stuff like that. And they're sort of like, well, we're not going to put that in until it's polished, or it's not polished enough for this patch, so we're going to put it to the next one. Those two viewpoints sometimes are in direct opposition with each other, but they are both the ways they develop the game. So it's confusing, so it's complicated. It's confusing and annoying sometimes and frustrating, especially when they sort of like change during let's just get it into actually we want to polish this now sort of thing, or vice versa. But yeah, I think they oversell the quarterly releases anyway. They have marketing for them. They polish them. They have like, oh, look at this new release. Wow. And yeah, I mean, sort of, it's fine to oversell it. I suppose. You don't want to lie or anything, and that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying they market it, and any form of marketing, in my opinion, at the moment, for an alpha release, is really overselling it. Star Citizen is getting more and more playable, but it's for certain people. At the moment, it is not a sit down and play game. It's a playable alpha where you can test it, and if you want to get it now, you want to you're gonna have a buggy experience. It's gonna be it's a fun project, even now, but it's not about playing the game necessarily so much now as it is being involved with the project. If you see what I mean, so like having your feedback, talking about these features, talking about the monthly releases, getting stuff that you want in game by discussing it, by iterating on it. You can play it now. Much more fun to play it now with an organisation or group, especially if they're organising their own sort of like sandbox gameplay. But sit down and play a game, a proper game, it is not yet. It's going to be a good few years before Star Citizen is a feature-complete beta, even, or a more complete beta, shall we say. So bear that in mind. I think everyone that's sort of like backed the project and has done any form of looking at the project knows that it's beautiful and it's cool, but it's not a game yet, not a proper game yet. Yeah, so I just randomly started streaming today. So with my streams, I will have a stream schedule. As soon as Citizen starts working for me, the channel's getting organised, and then like hopefully my B-roll will look significantly better. There'll even be gameplay and stuff on my channel, rather than just sort of like feature and news updates for Star Citizen. But I want to get much better guides and stuff out as well. I want to revamp my whole guide series and my ship buyer stuff, and I want to eventually be able to compete with people like Morphologists in the quality of their production value for their B-roll and that sort of stuff. Because he gets beautiful, beautiful vistas and sceneries and does the ships really well. I want to have a look at Last Oasis, actually. I've seen Detox play it a bit. I was enjoying that. Hi, board. Love the content, dude. Keep up the good work. Question, do you have any backup plans for content if Star Citizen fails to take off? So I'm going to be expanding to other stuff anyway. I'll cover Star Citizen, I assume permanently on this channel, unless something weird happens. That's the plan, is to cover Star Citizen, even if there are other games or other content that I make in the future that does better or I do more of, I still will cover Star Citizen. Because I know it makes money covering the game, basically. It's for the channel. It's something I really love and really enjoy. Like, I can only see the Star Citizen content and the channel growing. Like, looking at it going, well, the game is getting more and more traction. Even if bad, terrible decisions and that sort of stuff start happening and there's loads of Star Citizen drama, actually my channel probably does pretty good out of it, so I want to cover Star Citizen. But the goal and the dream is that within the next few years, we'll have a very playable Star Citizen that I can make daily content on, that's a mixture of guides and gameplay. I can stream it really regularly while being engaged in the way that I would be with, like, or have previously been with the EVE Online back in the day, like 10 years ago or so. Or World of Warcraft or whatever, and just play it. I can grind it and go, oh god, I've got to make a video, but I want to play. That's the joy. What else have we got? So 3.9. EVOCATI have 3.9. They moved a couple of features out of 3.9. When I say features, they moved the Idris from the Idris mission, the final Arlington gang mission. They moved that to 4.0 because they went, it's not polished enough yet. It's not ready enough. It's not as working as intended. And I think it was causing some problems potentially for a wider release. And the M50 looks like it's getting a little bit more of a rework than they had originally planned, or I had originally envisioned. It's probably better to say. So we still haven't got 3.9.0 out to a wider PTU. So wider PTU, first wave PTU, would be, it's with the EVOCATI, but also it would be the EVOCATI and first wave testers. So that's subscribers and concierge people that spend $1,000 or more on their account, and RSI subscribers that subscribe to their stuff. So some people have said that they want it to go straight to a wider PTU of, like, open PTU, which is possible. I just think it's unlikely. But first wave PTU, literally any time. Like, as far as I'm aware, CIT are doing go no go meetings every day, and they have been like for the last week, with the potentially even longer with the patch. So we should see it to wider PTU as soon as they've got the servers stable and any other blockers they want fixed, because they don't want an incredibly unstable mess before it goes to wider testing. So bear that in mind. But you could get it later today even. But as I said, one of the problems we have with Star Citizen at the moment is the global situation has caused them to work from home. Now, they've even admitted that that's not too much of a delay for them, but it could cause like a week or two delay. I mean, sensibly, I think everyone can see that with a lot of stuff, and that's one of the things we've seen. So hopefully they'll get a wider PTO out soon. How playable is 3.9 going to be? Well, so they've said that they've got they've been fixing various bugs. Hopefully their latency sort of updates will help with the desync. Removing the desync would be great. They further dialed in some stuff with server-side container streaming and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that we get a much more playable 3.9. 3.8 was, it promised lots, and it had some good updates there, but it sort of failed to deliver with the multiplayer nature of Star Citizen that I require to have to do gameplay content, which is a shame. But it is what it is. Ivy Mike, doing okay here. Have a few rounds on me when this crazy is over. Thank you very much, Ivy Mike. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much. I sort of I'll talk at the end of the stream about my dad again because I like to let people know. So otherwise, people constantly, and I don't mind, but I feel guilty not responding. I constantly get messages about how is my dad doing, and I sort of want to just, what I'll do is I'll update people on social media and I'll update people on the Discord and occasionally on the stream. I don't want to keep on rabbiting on about it. One of the other things is I feel that people send me donations when I talk about my dad. I don't want you to send me a donation because I'm having a hard time or whatever. There is no way people should profit off family tragedy, because that's effectively what it would be, or the global situation stuff. I mean, unless you're a newscaster. If you're creating news on the global situation or something, I think that's fine to profit off that. That's your job. But did you see what I mean? I would feel guilty, even though people are like, no, it's fine. I'd feel guilty, okay? However, someone else justifies it. So please bear that in mind. If you want to give money to me, give it to me for my Star Citizen content, or because I'm a beautiful potato boy. Or for alcohol. That no one wants to do global situations sober, do they? But I mean, my house is full of food, which is good. Getting a curry. My diet's a bit broken, unfortunately. What are you gonna do? Right. What else have we got? Anything else? The NDA is a joke. It's an open development project. So, the NDA with the EVOCATI stuff, obviously it gets leaked very regularly, but the idea is that CIG wanted a group of testers that they could test really buggy builds for before they went to the next stage. EVOCATI isn't just, don't tell anyone. The idea was to get a group of people that are good at, so without the NDA even, bam, assume the NDA isn't not that, but EVOCATI, a good set of testers that understand the rules, can listen to instructions and perform those instructions well. So like they are good at testing, they're good at sort of like reporting stuff on the issue council, they understand the rules, they understand what needs to be tested, they play a lot, all that sort of stuff. So they're sort of like, that's the reason that they were selected in the first place. The people that are leaking that, they're not appropriate EVOCATI because they either have leaked it by accident, or they've leaked it on purpose, or they're sharing it with trusted mates, which you really shouldn't do. So I would prefer EVOCATI phase without NDA, so that people could still talk about it and use footage on it. I mean, I can see some of the reasoning why CIG do have the NDA. But I can see why, like, I get an NDA while I go to like a studio tour. Like, make you sign an NDA. Say you might see stuff that you're not supposed to see, especially like Squadron 42 stuff. And I actively go out and search for stuff I'm not supposed to see when I'm at the office tour. It's like an Easter egg hunt for me. And hopefully when the global situation's over, I'll be able to get another office tour. Yeah, just because it doesn't necessarily make sense as an open development part of the project. Why have they got an NDA? Well, they've got an NDA in the same way they don't just show you the whole amount of Squadron 42, or they don't give you full access to their source code, and they don't give you full access to all of their financials. Some stuff's for leveraging position, some stuff's because they are a capitalist company, and other bits are because it would just be direct spoilers. Although I'm very much in the opinion that the more information, the better. You can sort of understand something and be partly against it, maybe, or not understand it fully. I don't fucking know, do I? What do I look like? I just cover the game. Give me more information. But I'm not pissing and moaning about EOG not communicating. Well, today I'm not anyway. I would like 3.9 EVOCATI phase to not have an NDA. Yes, I would. But I semi-understand why they've got it a little bit. It's annoying for me as a content creator with the EVOCATI stuff because I can't create content on 3.9 at the moment, even though I want to. Will you open a PO box? I would love to build you a custom P. Oh, Harry Johnson. But what? I mean, I want a custom PC. I mean, I want free stuff. I do have a PO box actually, which I had planned to put on the website, and someone informed me that I hadn't put it on the website, but I need to put it on the website. I haven't, and I need to. So I'll get it on the website. Harry, if you're more than welcome to email me, because you said you want to give me something for free, and I like free things, and that sounded like it was an expensive free thing. So we could talk about that, but obviously, if people send me stuff like that, I will feature it in a video or do something with it, as long as it's not like loads of specialist interest male organs drawn on it. Dick pics is what I was basically trying to convey to you there without saying that. Mux. Oh, why no? Ooh. Thank you very much, Dalamars. Oh, you star Dalamars. Dalamars is a long-term helper of the channel. And thank you very much, you absolute star. Thank you so much, Dalamars. 20 months, it is a long time. Muckstains. Muckstuffins? Mucksteakins? Thank you very much. Thanks for all the great videos. They were a big part of my decision to get into Star Citizen. Looking forward to 3.9 content. Or my 3.9 content. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated, mate. Are you star? Thank you for all the, and Will Christie. Thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. I need to start promoting YouTube member stuff more. Every time someone subscribes on that, I go, oh, that's a good idea. Hello, this is from Christopher Grump. Hello, did CIG at any point say something about a player skill system following the project since 2016? I can't recall anything about this. Cheers. There is no play XP or player levels or skills that you can learn as a active skill. Anything you learn in-game is your own personal skill as a player. You see what I mean? You can be good at engineering by being good at the engineering mechanics. You're not going to gain levels at engineering mechanics. You're not going to gain the engineering skill. If you are good at engineering because you understand the mechanics as a player, bam, you'll be good at it. And technically you could be max. You're effectively, everyone is max level when they start the game. The only real sort of like measure, I suppose, of experience is wealth, assets, your actual own personal skill, reputation with some organizations and things, and your alliances and stuff. It is much more a MMO roleplay experience than a leveler or a grinding game. It's not a WoW leveler. Everyone's max level to start with. It's all about your equipment and stuff. Thank you so much for the Ron. For the Ron, Christopher. I'm not sure what Ron is, but I appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Star. Everyone's sending me lots of money. Thank you. I'm most interested in NPC functionality. How smart will they be in the verse? I know they're looking at giving them jobs, but will they react to things, attacks, or attempted NPC kidnapping? Yes. So they're working lots of different behavior types into them. The idea is that NPCs will be scheduled, so they're sort of like do their own routine and then go to an area to sort of like despawn and then be simulated and then come back out of that area. So have loads of social NPCs on the ground or whatever is the idea there. But they're going to react to sound. They're going to react to people bumping into them. They're going to react to you pulling a weapon. All of that sort of behavior is going to be there. Did you see my 5 months? Oh, no, I didn't. I don't think I did. Hey, Calvin. I'm sorry. I'm the worst. Thank you very much, though. I appreciate it. You legend. It hasn't come up on my my alerts. Hey, Calvin, I'm so sorry. That was genuine sorry in my voice as well. Oh, sorry, buddy. Thank you so much, though. Very much appreciated. I'd love to be scanned into the game at some point, and I will try and get that done. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to sound like I was sad, really sad that you hadn't been mentioned, Catherine. No. So what do we got here? So I'm jumping between multiple chats, and I've got I've split my chat into lots of different things to get chats from lots of different sources. But I need to get it merged into a single chat thing again. I was using the restream chat thing, but it doesn't work very well at the moment. I'm really looking forward to NPCs working a bit better, and then NPC crew. But animals on planets. Like, once we have NPCs that can move around outside on a planet's surface, then they can start to build those NPC animals. Because obviously at the moment we don't have proper pathfinding for NPCs. They can barely navigate in areas that are prefabbed, so like flat floors and the known quantities. So once they get out into procedural generated areas, that's not going to work at the moment. So I've got a really shiny head today. You have to bear that in mind. They're wondering why do we always start hearing you eating? I was eating. I'm sorry. I'm not particularly professional. I'm erratic. Sometimes I'm professional. Why do you think the monthly report of 2015 have more content in it than the monthly report of 2020? Monthly report of March. Because there's less people writing the monthly report of March. So there's a big focus at the moment on Squadron 42 stuff, which they don't convey in the same way at the moment. So they're sort of reworking that. The combined monthly reports of Squadron 42 and the Persistent Universe are probably larger than the original 2015 ones. So, and that's what the 2051 would have been. But yeah, there's a big concerted effort on a lot of core tech and Squadron 42 stuff. So the Persistent Universe has effectively suffered for that when it comes to content, in my opinion. And obviously, there's a lot of core features being worked on. What is the answer board? 42, as we all know. Have you looked into Blackmagic Design? Mini Pro Switch may help your production as well. I'll have a look at wherever the hell that is. I'll make a note and have a look. You waved like an idiot. Woo! No, that's... Woo! Oh, question, send me one of your Star Citizen account emails and I can gift you an extra set of Quick Flare Pro. Thank you. Appreciated. Honeydew. Oh, you star. I would love some extra flares. I like free stuff. Who do you think is the most notorious Star Citizen persona as of today? Notorious real player. I mean, the Matadors were naughty boys, but I think they're playing some other games at the moment. Notorious? I mean, I don't really know. So I quite like Moist Noodle. He does a lot of PvP. I get on with him really well. I think he's a good chap. But they do a lot of PvP. I think depends on what sort of level. Are you talking about in game, or are you talking about just character as like a content creator? Because there's some content creators which are real shitters, which will fall into that category. Yeah, I love Montoya, but I wouldn't refer to him as he's very neutral, rather than one side or the other. He's aligned with chaos. Chaotic good is Montoya. Hey, bud, we have the best community, and we're here for you. No worries. Thank you very much. I genuinely appreciate all the love. I'm hoping that the global situation stuff resolves itself so people can go out within the next few months. And I think 3 months is hopefully the length it will last, but it could last longer. That's the thing, isn't it? With prison mechanics in, will it make Rexzilla-style operations impossible due to penalties? No, because I think that if they're in the same team, if you're in the same squad, the same group, then it's sort of like, it's fine. You can sort of like go forgive. Also, I think that you have to be taken out by or near security forces is the other thing, Jack. So if people are just dying and respawning on their ships, that's fine. Are the wardrobes in some of the residential areas in Star Citizen going to work in 3.9 or later updates? They are openable, as far as I'm aware. I don't believe that there is the disguised inventory part of that. So I don't believe in 3.9 you'll be able to put clothing in cupboards and take it out of cupboards, but I would expect to see that this year. They're building more and more stuff into the physicalized inventory system. They're building steps towards it. You'll see that with the personal inner thought and the sort of like radial menu for that. And it's got a lot of that functionality going towards. How much of a percentage would you say ad revenue is down? 40 to 45%, 40 to 50%? Specifically for ad revenue for YouTube. Any thoughts on the bounty hunting update for 3.9? Devs didn't seem to really know anything about it, but it was on the roadmap. Hang in there. So as far as I'm aware, the bounty hunting stuff, they want to build in more bounty hunting mechanics and improve bounty hunting missions. You'll see that in 3.9 with the dual take down 2 targets at once bounty hunting mission, and the fact that bounties will try and get away from you by quantum traveling away from you and stuff like that. I think they actually wanted more and more on that, where you could set bounties on players and things like that as well. I think that's where that's going. But you will see some bounty hunting improvements. You will see additions to bounty hunting, I suppose I used to say, rather than improvements. You'll see missions, for example, for people that escape from prison to go and take them out. Things like that. Because the Idris mission requires a large number of players, do you think some kind of looking for group feature will be implemented sometimes in the future? You've got the beacon system, and you sort of can join other people groups. So the looking for group system would be you talk in chat or you talk online and become friends. And within the unified friend system with 3.9, that should be at least slightly easier. Yeah, looking for group system in-game as part of the service beacon stuff, like a pre-service beacon, would be a good idea. A jobs board for that. Do you think they will do a free fly event during the quarantine? Yes, I do. I can't speak too much more about that, but I do think they will do one. I would personally, I would expect a free fly event for 3.9 going live. I haven't played COD Warzone yet. I've got it installed. I've not played Warzone yet, but I'm looking forward to trying it out. Green Hell as well, I'm looking forward to try that out. When will they implement ship-to-ship spawning? I believe that is part of docking for 4.1. So expect it for Q3 2020 at the moment. I love Half-Life. Half-Life Alyx is the best VR game I've ever played. And I'm looking forward to potentially now more Half-Life games in the series. Like Half-Life 3 in my lifetime? Who would have thought it? How far do you think the iCache is? Pretty far along. I'd expect to hear more about it, potentially get some implementation of it in 4.0, though it's back-end stuff, we really won't notice it, and then them try to push full persistence in for later this year. Where's the next concept? So, concept ship-wise, not sure what's happening this year. They are moving more and more towards a straight-to-flyable model. Could we see a new concept ship with 3.9? Well, probably a straight-to-flyable ship with 3.9 is much more likely. Could we see something new and straight-to-flyable 3.9? Yes, certainly we could. It's a possibility. We've been recently teased with an Origin ship of some description, and there's sort of like hinted at it being connected to scanning or surveying or exploration type gameplay. We will have to wait and see. Nothing confirmed for that for 3.9, but I'm expecting something new and flyable. So. But then again, I was expecting 3.9 to be out by now, and it hasn't even gone to first wave PTU yet. I know you can't say much about 3.9 due to EVOCATI rules, but could you tell us if the build seems more stable than 3.9? 3.8.2. No, I can't. Well, all I can say is that once they have a stable build that's worth testing and any blocker bugs removed, then it typically goes to first wave PTU. Would people in 2950 play games set in 2020? They would, wouldn't they? Do you think Star Citizen would fare better with permadeath? Right now, death is so common in the game, it seems unrealistic. How often you die in Star Citizen versus real-life experiences CIG is going for? Yeah, well, in real life, you die once. So, I see what you're saying. They need to... So, I don't really mind if they have Death of a Spaceman or not. What I want is real risk and reward for stuff. Okay? That's the main thing. And then sort of like some insurance to offset some of this. It is a game after all. Fun over not fun. Fun over realism. What do you expect for future of the dynamic mission system at this point? So missions need to be contextual to what's going on in the universe in real time. And B, have lots of different variants. So you can have the idea is you have a subset of mission of like transport missions. You take a crate from A to B. Now, there could be a billion different things that happen to you on that route. You could get intercepted by pirates. You could find a sort of distress signal. You could all this sort of stuff that could happen to you on the route. And that's sort of like going to happen in any mission just from quantum traveling. That's the quantum travel element. All missions will have this sort of like quantum travel element, and random things can happen as you're going along. You can be scanned by NPCs or whatever. But the actual mission of cargo thing, traveling from A to B, whatever, you might be being pursued by a group as part of that. You might have to get it to A to B quicker than someone else. You might have to, you might actually be smuggling something illegal that you weren't aware of it was illegal, but if you scan it and find out about it, then you're like, ooh, the mission might have some subplots, like, if you find something during a mission, it will go, well, actually, this is another mission set you can do as part of this. Or there might be multiple ways of completing a mission and sub-objectives for those missions. And this needs to be done so that there's enough variance in those missions that makes sense and is different every time you play, that it doesn't feel like you're playing the same mission again and again and again and again and again. That's basically what the sort of like dynamic mission system is to me. It's it needs to be based on the economy and responsive to that, so you are literally doing missions that there is a need to have that mission done for, and then that affects the sort of like the wider game, the wider simulation. So I really like the idea of it. I mean, it's obviously much. There's a lot going on with the economy as well, with Tony Zero talking about Quanta and stuff last year. And he's a fucking genius, that man. Do you think the M50 will receive rework on the scale of the 300 series? Not on the scale of the 300 series, but I think it's going to get a larger rework than I was originally expecting, which was just a materials update and a landing gear update. I think it's getting a little bit more tweaked to bring it more in line. Question, what software do you record with, and is there a free recording and video editing software available? You can use OBS and OBS Studio to record or stream with. That's free, great free software. Audacity is free, and you can use it to manipulate audio and overlay audio and clean audio. And then free video software. So you can use Windows like Movie Maker, and you'd have to search on Google for free ones. I use Adobe Premiere, which is for like 30 quid a month or something. It adds up. Will you ever be making a statement regarding the shape of your head? I regularly make a statement. Oh, it's a cesarean section. I have a big beluga whale / egg / potato head. And basically, when your head isn't forced through the birth canal when you're born, you end up with a weird head like mine. Not bald. Well, you're probably bald when you're a baby. So I was cesarean section, so cut from my mummy's tummy. Like in the Scottish play. Yeah, bear that in mind. I've got a weird head. Deal with it. Hey mate, first time I'm watching live. Could you dress your NPC crew in uniforms as well as yourself? So they haven't talked much about that. I would expect there are customizations that you can do to your NPCs for that sort of stuff. I suspect that's the sort of stuff that they will at least try and humour. That makes sense. You have a dress code. Is the solar system still in the plans, i.e. the landing zones in New York? Yeah, so they want to have Earth in the game and Terra and all that sort of stuff. In 2020, you're going to get, later this year, is the plan to get a new system, Pyro, as well. Sorry, I'm reasonably behind chat in time, behind time in chat. You know what I mean? I'm about 10 minutes or so behind. Do you know if there's any plans to save locational markers for returning to a location at a future date? Yeah, so they are planning on being able to save location data, being able to map stuff, being able to share locations in the future. I'm not sure when. I want that as a super high priority because I think it's really important, but I think CIG are aware it's important, but they're building coordinate systems and working out exactly how they want to do it at the moment. And they've got their building blocks UI as well, so one of the things they were waiting on was a removal of the UI bottlenecks in their game, because it looks like AI and UI are the two things that are causing a huge amount of bottlenecks for things to be completed to a stage they wanted. I mean, they move on to other tasks, but... During your previous tours, have you ever run into any of the actors that are part of the Squadron 42 story? Yes, but not AAA actors. Ooh, do you think a Cutlass Black could fit inside the hangar of the Polaris? We won't know until the Polaris is fully built. So, yeah, you have to wait until the Polaris is built. I know it's supposed to be able to fit at least a fighter size, so like a Sabre should be able to fit in there or whatever. But it's possible the Cutlass Black could fit in there once it's done, once it's completed. Move on to a different song. This one is quiet. Mystery, isn't it? Yes, it is. Are the wardrobes in some of the residential areas in Star Citizen going to work in 3.9 Lite? Not as far as I'm aware. We need physicalized inventory really for that, and they are working towards that. And you're getting the piss pit system, personal inner thought, and personal interaction system and personal inner thought. I appreciate the love from Mexico. Reclaimer ship or Orion. They're both really cool. If you want to just mine, the Orion. If you want to do salvage and sort of like treasure hunting, the Reclaimer. I love the Reclaimer. I love both those ships. I think that once we have salvage and a more complete game, I'll probably like the Reclaimer more. Reliant, good or great? I'm not a fan of the Reliant. I'll get another chance in the future. Last time I played was right before they announced server-side container streaming. Best iteration was coming to the verse. How much has changed since then? You know when that was. A lot's changed. Are we going to have Asteroid Belt after Crusader, or are we going to have the Pyro system directly? They said they wanted the Pyro system in this year. Will we get the Aaron Halo for Stanton this year? I would expect it this year as well. And expect general sort of points of interest updates as well. Do I have a Nintendo Switch? No, I don't. I've got a friend called Zen and a friend called Zin. And Zin's going to be working for me, and Zen has previously appeared on the channel. That's confusing. The Mongol Squad seems like effective pirates. Yeah, I want to see more genuine piracy in the game, but for that we need missions that encourage piracy, and then people to understand that that sort of gameplay is more likely to happen if they're transporting certain goods or flying certain ships. So if you're a lawful player traveling a certain route, you're sort of like more aware that it's much more likely that PvP could happen, so that you bring escorts if you need to, or at least you're like, well, hang in there, Space Cowboys, indeed. .9 estimated arrival when? We don't know. It could be today. Well, obviously, it's been has been delayed because of various things, mainly because of the global current situation and CIG working from home. Do you think they will keep the current way the snub fighter docks to the Connie, or possibly get a rework instead of having a small fighter? So, or have a small hangar or something. Okay, so one of the reasons that it's been posited that you don't have the Chorus in game yet, the Constellation variant, even though it should be quite a simple thing to do, is because they're doing a light rework to the Constellations, potentially removing struts in the cockpit, stuff like that, but also potentially because they're tweaking the way Parasite fighters dock with it. So it's possible, but again, that is just very rumour. Yeah, so I feel you with you're still working when other people aren't. Like, a lot of my mates are playing games throughout the day now, and I want to play with them, but I still need to get my video stuff done. And I actually find that I'm just less productive now, because I'm sort of more distracted throughout the days. Well, that's obviously because there's a lot of shit happening with my life as well, but... Why are you such a shit YouTuber, Squidder? No! Why you say such things? Oh, you make me sad. Boop. And Squidder, I produce Star Citizen news content, and I sort of create summaries and compress that for my channel, which is why my channel has got over 140,000 subs, and why I'm one of the most successful Star Citizen full-time channels. I create that content because that's what my sort of like viewers want. If you don't want that, then don't watch me. Obviously, you do want to watch me. Call me a shitter. Go team. I'm glad the social isolation has not got to you. Oh, you starved. Thank you very much, Harry Johnson. We'll talk about it properly later, because obviously, if there's anything like that, then we'll talk. I don't want to just accept lots and lots of money's worth of free gifts from you. But I kind of do, but also I don't. I feel guilty. So we'll talk about it. Thank you very much. Very genuine. How different do you think the ships will be to kill once they have actual armor active in game? So it's not about the actual armor that I think it was going to make a big difference. It's the physical. So that's the physical damage system, the armor and that sort of stuff, and the actual projectiles traveling through your ship and that sort of stuff. But it's the physicalized components that I think are going to make the most difference. So that will, at the moment, ships have artificial health pools, and reducing that to 0, boom, your ship explodes. That's not going to encourage piracy or people boarding a ship or anything, because you just blow the ships up. But physicalized components will mean that when you shoot a ship, depending where you shoot it, that will disable the ship. That will blow out its power. That will blow up its engines. That will whatever. So, and then those systems might be able to be repaired or replaced on the fly. So you've got to balance that. But you can disable ships and they don't have those artificial health balls, which mean they just explode. So that's a huge amount more gameplay there. And obviously the physical damage system plays into that as well with armor, but also the projectiles doing different things through different parts of the ship. You need that before you even consider thinking about balance. And then they're only going to be talking about... there's going to be constant balance until all of the stuff's in-game. Have you considered using Floatplane as an alternative to YouTube membership? Someone's talked about Floatplane. Is that the Linus Tech Tips one? I'll have a look at it. But I probably wouldn't use it as an alternative to YouTube membership because I think it's a lot easier to keep it on YouTube. It gives me a lot more tools to be able to reach my audience. Any news on the Starlifter? So we know that they've been working on the Hercules C2 and they've been doing white box stuff with it. Beyond that, we don't. With the first jump point on the horizon, Pyro, do you expect all the consequences to screwing up your jump will be implemented in the first pass? No. I think it will be a jump point light, and I think it will be if you drive a bit wrong, you'll damage your ship and shields a bit. That sort of thing. Why whales before sandworms? We don't necessarily know that there's going to be the space whales in game before the sandworms. That's not confirmed. Obviously, they are doing concepts on the space whales, but they've done concepts on loads of animals and a huge amount of the lore. I mean, just go on the lore database. There's a huge amount on there. So sometimes EVOCATI builds will need to be time limited for certain testing reasons. Hey Board, do you have an org? If so, what's its name? I've got Nomad Black, which will be active a little bit later in Star Citizen's development. But I've got a Board Gamer org as well, which we will be using to organise some stuff in the future. I need to make Zin an officer of that, actually. Do you think in the future we will be able to play as different alien races? So they've said they wanted that. So it's not going to be in the near future or the medium-term future. But they did say they would look at us playing as other alien races. But I'd expect maybe Tavar and Banu and potentially Xi'an. Fun fact, you can fit nearly all the currently existing ships in the Reclaimer. Om nom nom. How long do you think it should take in-game to earn UEC to buy a Polaris? Are you working with a group? What are you doing? How risky are you playing? It literally depends on what you're doing. The progression to get from starter ship to larger ship and then from larger ships leveraged from like mining ships to something like the Polaris, you could be looking at a couple of months sort of thing. That's the sort of like, if you're an efficient, regularly playing player that has a group to be able to play with, and you want to get a Polaris, I think you should be able to do it in a couple of months, sort of thing. But I reserve the right to actually think about that. How many weeks or months setback do you expect Corona, do you maybe say it, to have on Squadron 42 and Star Citizen? Seems like at least 1 month delay. It's going to make stuff a little bit more inefficient, potentially, because they're working from home. Although some people have argued it could make it more efficient. CIG are able to develop the game remotely and have been. They're a global studio. They're able to connect all their studios pretty easily, and developers around the world. So I would expect to see at least a couple of weeks delay in the short term for Persistent Universe patch, and then we don't really know beyond that. What else we got? You think that the current global situation is a convenient excuse? Huh. How has social distancing affected the weekly meetings of Shills Anonymous? Well, I mean, we still meet. We'd only meet on Skype anyway. No one's anonymous on that. We gotta make sure we get our names out there so we get our payment checks, right? I find it really interesting. So, obviously, I've got a vested interest in Star Citizen potentially doing well for my channel, although you certainly could argue that Star Citizen drama and it doing badly would also be pretty beneficial for me. I'm not paid by CIG in any way, and I've seen people accuse me of getting free computers and free stuff from CIG, all this sort of stuff that is just entirely lies or made up. It's fiction. It's a fiction from some people. If I got anything from them, I would happily say that I got it. I even refuse the free ships they offer with the alpha patch releases to give to my community. I go, thank you very much, but at the moment, I'm sort of like trying off that. So, weird thing. Do you think we will see salvage by 4.0? No, I would hope to see salvage in 2020. I wouldn't expect to see it in 4.0. I've got a copy or access to New World, the Amazon Lumberyard game, but I have not played it yet. So I would certainly try it out. Do you think there's a timing element to the release of Solar Systems? Do you think they are trying to arrive at Odin around the release of Squadron 42? So yeah, I actually do think they're trying to build towards Odin. It makes sense that after Squadron 42 is released, that they can finish off the Odin system for the Persistent Universe's needs, because it's going to be largely done for that. I heard one of the devs mention a villagers on planet. How far do you think they will add to the planet gameplay? So you'll have NPCs there, you'll have people defending there, you'll have them part of missions, you'll have pirate outposts, you'll have different faction outposts, places to trade with, places to get missions from. Small little like shanty towns and villages will probably be a lot more sort of like, well, you can fight there if you want to. You can raid there more easily. Regarding missing concepts, we saw people rediscovering the Warlock on YouTube lately. Oh no! What have we done? What have we done? Will carry which ship will carry large quantum jammers? So the Warlock's got an EMP rather than the Mantis's quantum enforcement thing. I would expect to see other forms of sort of like slowing ships potentially, or electronic warfare in the future. It's possible we will see larger EMP devices and larger quantum enforcement devices than we already have in game. Yes. Hey board, is the current Aaron Halo not how it should be, and what is missing? So there's supposed to be sort of like gates. It's supposed to sort of like there's supposed to be structures around the Aaron Halo and stuff like that. So expect it to be a lots and lots of missions to be available there, points of interest to be there, and lots of mining opportunities to be there in the future. At the moment, it's just sort of like an asteroid field, and not even I mean, they're going to be improving the asteroid field procedural tech and the way asteroids look, and adding loads more commodities and stuff into the game anyway. Jaden Cattrall, thank you so much for the resub. Very much appreciated. Star, thank you, thank you, thank you. Why would they tease us with so much info about 3.9 and then not bloody release it last night? Do they enjoy making us go mad? I think they wanted to release 3.9 live by now. I think the working from home, and some of the stuff just not being ready has caused problems, obviously. I would expect them to be in go no go meetings, trying to get it out today, if not today, then tomorrow, and and keep on going along like that. I mean, it's really annoying because I want to do some content on 3.9 so bad. Hit film, no worries. So the damage modeling will be more like flight sims. Hit a certain spot, kill an engine. In another spot, kill a core. Yes, so so there will be subsystem targeting, but also your projectile, it hits where it hits and potentially goes through to hit multiple things. And that's part of the physicalized damage system and the physicalized components. The physical damage system. Do you think CIG not implementing the interiors for microtech at the same time as exteriors will be a repeated pattern in the future? Like Crusade, it's going to happen sometimes, I would expect. I think they want to, with new landing zones, try and get them on all at the same time. But sometimes there's obviously going to be times they go, well, this isn't fully finished yet. Bam, we'll revisit that later, or we'll get some of the landing zone in. It's gonna happen sometimes. Is it true that you'll be able to paint your ships like the 300i in 3.9? No. So there's no aftermarket customization system that we're aware of in 3.9 yet. There's obviously the system that currently exists on the website. A couple of people have been auto picked up by my auto moderator, so just be careful. I'll have to go. I haven't got enough time to go through what everyone's been saying, so it might auto silence people. Apologies. But if you're swearing loads or you're spamming, then it will automatically pick you up. So just be aware. Will PvP bounties ever be polished? And if so, how are they going to do it? Well, I mean, it's going to continue to iterate on the dynamic mission system and the quanta system. So they will simulate NPCs based on what the economy and the sort of like what's happening in the area, and then you'll be like tracking them down as part of bounty missions. And there's going to be like a bounty hunters guild, and they will share updated information with you on where they were last seen and stuff like that. But they're supposed to be genuinely simulated there as well. So you will actually be trying to track them down and find them, and you might have to go to bars, and you might have to follow their quantum trail and that sort of stuff. They sort of like at the moment, CIG haven't sort of like told us beyond this is what we want for the mechanic. We know that they're going to be less than lethal ammunition and weapons that you can use to take them down and then put them in bounty hunter ship in like a secure pod, and then take them to an advocacy center, police station. Do you believe it's possible to get star systems implemented every quarter, maybe after 4.2? In the future, yeah. I wouldn't expect that sort of speed on star systems for a while, though. Why do you need a 2080 to edit your videos? So it's not for my videos; it's actually for my editor, and that's to record and edit. It's not just for editing. Building blocks UI, are the new elevator buttons being implemented throughout the verse, or just a new Babbage for now? They're going to be phased in, so you'll see them on any new ships and any new locations, and you'll see them starting to phase in. What else have we got? Are we going to... Are we waiting on subscriber PTU or the full release? Both! Still confused about how the law and prison system will work. If cops come after you and you quantum travel away to another location, will those NPC cops jump to and follow you if they catch you? So, short term, so for 3.9, if you get away from cops, you'll another set of cops might come after you. Yeah? Oh no, why? Thank you very much, Huntress. Huntress is basically my chief mod, although I've been terrible at giving any form of instructions. She still turns up and helps moderate a lot of the time. Thank you so much, Huntress, for money. She once paid me a lot of money to dress up as a Japanese schoolgirl, which I think I need to find the pictures of, and DC. Thank you so much. Yeah, if we get enough money, we'll get us in a 2080 Ti. However, I think a 2080 Super is probably the best stopgap to get her for April. And then upgrade that to a 3080 when they come out later in the year. Same as me, I'll get a 3080 as well. And then we can have the same settings for recording Star Citizen. Hopefully, get something comparative to 4K 60 frames would be beautiful. Thank you so much. A ridiculous amount of money from a ridiculously beautiful person. Thank you. Mwah. So, yeah, in 3.9, the security will come after you potentially in certain areas, and it will turn up in certain areas and as parts of missions, whatever, if your criminal rating's a certain level. But if you get away from them, you get away from them. However, they could turn up, a different squad effectively could turn up again. Now, they might have quantum interdiction ships, which prevent you from going into quantum travel, so you might have to take out that ship first. Someone knitted you a green avocado hat. Would you paint your face orange and wear it on stream? I'd wear the avocado hat. I could just do the light so I am orange. I think I'd look like an avocado. I mean, my head's a bit like an avocado seed anyway if I turn it. When do you think we will get the iCache? Last we heard, it was nearly done, and that was a few months ago. With 3.9 delays, I was hoping it would sneak it in. So I think that they'll probably be utilising it in 4.0 to some extent, but then they need to... I'd expect to see it utilised properly, or to some extent, in 2020. So they want to get like stuff like full persistence in, and they need it to build like server meshing. What is a good and relatively cheap video editing software? So typically you can pick up things like Sony Vegas pretty cheap, like a year or so old edition, just a single purchase. I think they've sold it. You can probably buy keys online pretty quick, cheap and easy. They've had it on like a Humble Bundle and stuff before. Beyond that, I use Adobe Premiere. Someone said HitFilm is a good. I've not used it though, so I can't confirm. Will Bedrohin fuel be explosive in the physical damage system? Asking because fuel or fuel vapors can cause a surprising amount of damage. So, okay. Quantanium, which is a new mineable they are adding in 3.9, is a volatile, good volatile cargo. So if you take too much damage while you're flying around with it, it's supposed to explode. So they've got the ability to do something like that with fuel and transport. So some goods will be volatile goods. However, ship fuel and some fuel types, once it's actually been refined, may not be as volatile as you think it would be because they need a special reaction to be used. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Star Citizen getting its Vulkan / Gen 12 renderer stuff optimized and in. Once we have Vulkan as the only thing that's falling rather than DirectX, I think that will make for a much more optimized game, much more scalable as well. In which order, board, do you think they will launch the systems? Pyro, Nyx, Odin. Yeah, it's a pathway towards Odin is what I think they will get. So Pyro, Nyx. Is it straight away Odin after that, or is there one? Is there another system before that? Blah 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 blah. Star map. Robert. That's Industries. And then what? Come on. Oop. This is the cool star map that what the hell's the name of the studio? Beep 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 beep. A Canadian studio. Behavior? Behavior, no. Behavior? Behavior? Turbulent. Thank you. The Turbulent make. The Turbulent made. We should see some integration with the star map from the website to the star map in the game eventually as well. I couldn't remember who Turbulent were briefly. So we've got, at the moment we're in the Stanton system. So let us go to Stanton. So from Stanton, I think we'll see them go to Pro next, as we know they're going to. I've got a video from this from a couple of years ago now that I sort of like had my theory, and it looks like it's going to be correct. And then I think they go to Nyx. We know that they've got Delamar already done as well, which is where Levski is. It's going to be in the Nyx system. And then you go from Nyx, I think you'll go straight to Odin, or is it somewhere else first? See the Odin system there. So from is it Virgil? Let's reel out and go see. Oh, come on, wait. Where's the Odin system connected to? Maybe Bremen? Oh no. Oh no, there's next to Odin. Yeah. What was that? I forgot. Cool. I couldn't see the point either because I'm dumb. Because I'm dumb! Okay. So yeah. I think we'll see Pyro, Nyx, Odin. That makes sense. It just makes sense. It makes sense. Odin's right near the sun. That's why I didn't see it. Oops, I appreciate the money. Thank you so much. But your people are mad. Also, Huntress, I love you. I need to see it. Every time I see that you sent me $100, I need to say I love you. Sergeant Lobster, thank you very much. Best wishes for your pops. You monster! I said I didn't want money, but being a sad case. But thank you very much. Very much appreciate it. I'll use it to buy him a green avocado hat and paint his face orange. No. Oh, God, no. Oh. It's a shitty situation to be in, isn't it? It's all right. What else have we got here? Board. Well, yes, we talked about. Cool. How long will the campaign for Squadron 42 be? We don't know for sure. I think they said they wanted a full playthrough of it to be 30-ish hours, 30 to 40 hours. We'll see if that's true when we get it in our hands. As long as it's more... I'd be looking for a 30-hour game for Squadron 42. Yeah? And I'd be upset for anything shorter than 20. but I'd hope there's enough gameplay there for me to be replayable to at least 70 hours. Do you know what I mean? That's my expectations, though. Chris Roberts said there will not be a reset when 3.9 goes live. That is correct. They said they will not reset persistence, so your Alpha UEC and Alpha UEC purchases will persist across, which is great. But people that used exploits may have credits removed or their accounts reset. So bear that in mind. If you have a huge amount of credits on your account that you were like, oh, I use this for an exploit, you might get that removed. What do you think about DirectX 12? So DirectX 12 stuff, okay. I like the idea that it's going to be phased out in favor of Vulkan. Vulkan is hardware neutral, and seems like a much more sensible option for CIG. You ever think we'll see boarding pods like in The Expanse? There are boarding-focused ships, and there are escape pods. There's like the Vandal Claw and stuff. So. Dawn Phantom, feel free to email me if you want me to look at any Spectrum posts. Same goes to anyone. contact@boardgamer.co.uk. If you want me to look at any post in particular, or me to look at a particular subject, you're like, I don't like the way you do this, or I want you to do this, or whatever, feel free to send me there. Oh, you can't. Ilphonic. Such a dirty word now. So for people that don't know, CIG outsourced the original FPS component of the game, and like Star Marine and the Endgame style Satterball, the Ilphonic originally, and it appears miscommunication between the two studios had Ilphonic building stuff to the wrong scale, or wasn't what CIG wanted, and I think it was genuinely down to both studios not communicating properly, and that was very early on in the project. And that's one of the reasons they started bringing everything in-house. Do you think the next ship will be concept or straight to flyable? Something straight to flyable with 3.9 is my expectation. Something new. Mohammed, if you're looking for a starter package, just grab a Mustang Alpha to start with. Experience the game. See what you like. It's very much a tourist experience at the moment. It's not a sit down and play game in a traditional sense, because it is very alpha. But you can get a load of the stuff in-game currently, so you can play, see what you like, and then test and rent these ships. What else do we know about the stats for the F8 Lightning in Squadron 42? It's heavy fighter, lots of big guns. They might change some bits around, so we don't know anything for sure is the thing. My head is see-through. Oh, God. Apologies. Right, what else have we got? Once they're completed, are you looking forward to flying your Vulkan, using Vulkan as a Vulkan while worshipping Vulkan? Oh, my God. No. Why don't you recommend the Pisces starter package? I suppose I've just got used to the... I think the Mustang Alpha is cheaper and worth more. Is that correct? I haven't been... Yeah, you're right. I haven't been recommended the Pisces. I think there's... The Pisces is pretty viable, to be honest. Let's have a look. Pledge store. View game packages. It's because the Pisces package is only available as the C8X, and that is more expensive. So it's $72 for me. That's 20% extra because of VAT. But you can get the Mustang Alpha starter package for $45. What's it? Yeah, $45. Cheap. The price you'd pay for a game. You just want to get in as cheaply as possible. You can always upgrade later, you see, so... Are there any other orgs like Operation Pitchfork brought into canon? Not as far as I'm aware yet. Lots of people bring their orgs into canon, or use the lore to build their orgs, but then orgs aren't built into lore in the same way. So. Mohammed, have a look at Squadron 42 and have a read about Squadron 42 to see if you're interested in getting involved with it, because you need to make the decision. Do you want to purchase that single-player game now? Because if you don't want to play the single-player game, then don't. If you are going to play the single-player game, great. Then it's cheapest you'll get it for, because it will go up in price when it's released, most likely. I can't make your financial decisions for you, but I do recommend that you don't buy anything more than a starter ship and potentially the Squadron 42 game as well. You're going to be playing it the cheapest way you're going to get it. Am I using a Chromecast? No. Considering the time it's taking to produce finished capital ship interiors, how long do you think it will be realistically to create a 300-meter monster like the Orion? A full year? No, I mean, the pipelines are actually surprisingly refined for a lot of stuff. The actual building of ships for the persistent universe with bare interiors, so I mean, obviously, I say bare interiors, with interiors that aren't pre-lived in. There's a lot of the Squadron 42 ships, they've got character, and there's a load going on with narrative storytelling, and a huge amount of stuff because they're military ships, and because they've been lived in, and because they're being built for very specific purposes. There's a lot more props and stuff going on there, and because they want them for levels for things as well. It's probably a bit easier to do them just for the persistent universe, or if you see what I mean. It's still a big ship though. Orion's huge. More getting its mining mechanics, and I think it's going to take the longer time. Has there been any word on morphing physics grid developments to allow the hull C and up transformation? I know they've been working on it. I know they've been wanting to get some of the bits in the game for cargo decks and for ship-to-ship and ship-to-station docking, which is all need to get the hull C in game. So I'm expecting morphing physics grid stuff to be done this year, as long as it's not been blocked by anything. So they haven't said anything specific about that recently, though, about the actual morphing physics grid stuff, other than they need to solve it. Romy, bro, you seem to be very, very, very confrontational, which is fine, and you're allowed your opinion, but share your opinion civilly. And saying stuff like, doesn't make serious it to me when people talk to you. Keep living in the delusion land. That's cool. Can you not see how that's not civil? Can you not see how that's you literally trying to bait and poke people and going, well, if you think different to me, you're just an idiot. It's basically what you're saying. But people don't necessarily agree with you, and that's fine as well, right? Or is it not? They have to agree with your point of view, otherwise they're idiots? Is that okay? I'm not talking about, like, science things. I'm not talking about like flat universe. I'm talking about people like Star Citizen, enjoy Star Citizen, and have varying opinions on its development. That's fine to discuss and talk about. And some people really fucking love and enjoy the game. That's not fake. That's not you're deluded. Is it? I mean, you're a monster. And he particularly commented on that because my auto mod keeps on going flag now. I'm currently dealing with Connery jets taking off overhead. Connery? And overpowering your voice. Oh, I do apologise. Should Star Citizen ships have anywhere near that loud when players are on the ground? No. I'm fine with the audio being fun rather than realistic. Blowing my eardrums out. Do you think the Ares will be in this month? No, I don't think we'll see the Ares ship. I think we could potentially see the Ares Ion and or the other variant by the Inferno by the end of the year, potentially, if they are focusing on the Hercules sort of like pipeline. I just bought the T16000 Emma flight pack with the feet pedals and stuff to play Star Citizen. How easy is it to set up? Really easy to set up. Just plug it in and mess around in... you'll probably want to mess around in Arena Commander in Vandal Swarm or Pirate Swarm, Vandal Swarm, and then adjust your sensitivity curve. But play around with it for a while. It's pretty plug and play. There'll be some driver installation and some button setup to some degree, but it's pretty plug and play as far as I'm aware. You can download other people's buttons, configs for them as well. And now that persistence is here, will there be an end to... There'll be an end game planned. In short, what do we do when we've got all the ships that you want? So that's an interesting question. So a lot of the Star Citizen is all end game. If you've ever played EVE, it doesn't matter if you've got everything, you want more. So it's going to be playing the game and sort of like securing areas of space, doing like high tier, high risk reward missions, and you'll lose a lot of stuff, and it will cost a lot to do these missions. So you'll be toiling during the day, making money so that you can do these high level raids. There's going to be a huge amount of gameplay to play, and people will just want to play the game. That will be sort of like hunting down people, building bases, mining for the sake of stimulating the economy, or helping out their orc mates. Theaters of War, any word on release? No word on release beyond they want it in and still plan to have it in for the first half of 2020. I would expect it to go to EVOCATI at some point during the 3.9 branch. And then to a wider PT that's supposed to be in our hands to some level. Send something to your email to have a look at. I will take a look, as long as it doesn't have to go to random links I don't know about. What is everything you know about the leak about the Navaran Avaz armor that may be sold with the Prowler? I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not sure if it's part of an EVOCATI leak or not, so I will look into it and see how it's been data mined or whatever. They've done so much more than you think in 7 to 8 years. No, so Star Citizen's sort of development is incredibly slow. I mean, they've got a playable alpha, they've got a load of cool tech and a load of cool stuff in there. It's very much a tourist destination, but the process of Star Citizen's development is slow. And if you accept that and you're cool with that, then great. If you're not, well, you can criticize that. Sure. I mean, it's something that you can easily criticize and is kind of right to criticize in some times. And as I said, there's an erratic sort of state of affairs with, we want it polished before we put it into the alpha, and let's just put it in and let's iterate on it. And they sort of like do both simultaneously and not consistently, which is really annoying. So that's sort of my issues with the development. Eve was cool 10 years ago. Eve was cool about 7 years ago. I really enjoyed Eve a lot. Star Citizen crashes and bugs out. That is true. Star Citizen is very much an alpha and is going to be a long development cycle before it's playable. That is the nature of it, and you can certainly criticize it for that. But that's not going to change through criticism. Should internet access be allowed in game? How about fake internet like in GTA 5? So they've got the render to texture tech stuff they want to do. So eventually you could be filming stuff in game for other places in game, like your news van, and it being transmitted to another monitor. And they've got comms calls for that purpose. We allowed internet in game. They did that in Eve. I would like it, but I'm not sure what precautions they need to do. Like, I'd love to have like YouTube videos running in your ship on a TV. That'd be great. During Pillar Talk, they talked about passenger ships. When do you think we will get the Genesis Starliner? The Hercules, it's a Crusader ship. So they're doing the. It looks like they're doing a load of the Crusader ships. Or at least the pipeline for it's going to be a lot much more refined by the end of this year. So they could be working on it. They've got ports ready for the Genesis Starliners as well. You notice in the landing zones, there's literally areas marked for the Genesis Starliner. So they haven't said that they're working on it, but I think it's possible that they will at least start working on it by the end of this year. Yeah, I think they're doing some stuff on their servers at the moment, getting ready for 3.9 to go to the first wave PTU, because yeah, a lot of people had lots of 30k problems. Are you participating in the alpha beta of any other games? I've participated in hundreds of alphas and betas. I backed Ashes Creation on Kickstarter. That changed so heavily because they changed it to their sort of like weird battle royale thing. I want the MMO. Free Space 2 is probably one of my favourite games of all time. Are you considering Starbase as a second game for my channel board? I mean, I would consider other games in the future and other content on my channel, on my main channel, potentially. Although I'd also potentially look at doing it on other channels, on secondary channels or focus channels for a different game. Starbase isn't one that I particularly had in my mind yet, but I'm open to evolution. Nautilus this year. I think you'll see Nautilus mines this year, potentially, for missions and things. But I wouldn't expect to see the Nautilus in game this year. Imperium's great. I think I've got Imperium as well. I backed Imperium. I backed all those games. Ashes of Creation did an MMO sneak peek, so it looks like they're back on track after the development setback. Fantastic. That's good, because I think I gave them 100 quid. I want... do you think they're going to offer streaming service so they could stream the game just like having it on a virtual PC instead of a powered PC? Oh, I think in the future, a lot of gaming in general will move to the cloud. Yes. I think there's just generally going to be, and Amazon will almost certainly be a big part of that in the future, I would expect. But I think there'll always be a market as well for people owning their own rigs, so bear that in mind. Oh, thanks for the work you put in. Rowan Arrow, thank you very much for the money. Thanks for the money you gave me. Once iCache is in, base building will be possible. So once iCache is in, they have a lot more of the bones to be able to start thinking about base building. They said in Pillar Talk, they sort of like, oh yeah, we want to do base building. I think that was a little bit more excited. It was going to take a lot longer before they start to have proper bases and the Pioneer building them. So bear that in mind. I think that was over optimistic from Chris. What's up, board? Got a couple of questions. Is there a reason why they've not implemented peer-to-peer trading yet? Yes, so really we're waiting for the accountancy app and some economy updates, and really the iCache, I suppose, as well, to track people's resources a bit better. And then we can probably have player-to-player trading. We could see it by the end of this year. We could see player-to-player trading. They wanted to have some of those economy features in for the first half of this year, but they sort of like pushed them back. But I would still expect to see them in 2020. How do you think the new system Pyro will change the flow of the game? Trading, mining. I think it's going to be a high risk and reward sort of area. So there's going to be lots of missions which are more dangerous. It's obviously going to be have a little bit more PvP orientated elements because it's not going to have the UEE patrolling it. So it's going to be, and you probably won't get a criminal rating for killing people there as well. It's going to be much more Wild Westy. It's also going to be sort of like where pirate incursions come from. So pirates will come from Ruin Station or the Pyro system into the Stanton system. And then once they've got a load of loot, go back to Pyro. Have you heard anything about the development of the universe? Is it still a thing? Well, I hope it's still a thing. Again, it's one of the games I've backed. I wasn't particularly impressed when I played Imperium or Dual Universe in the alphas yet. But GP to you indeed. Any words on the Aggies and Aegis Redeemer? We still know it's going to be Aegis. Well, that's what they've said. It's going to be more of a gunship. I would expect to see it this year, reconcepted. It would be great if it was rebuilt this year and flyable, but base building, maybe it's coming. CitizenCon surprise. That is the sort of thing they will show at CitizenCon, though. I mean, quite genuine, isn't it? Some parts of base building and animals and stuff like that. They want the stuff that's like new, and they go, oh, but it's not super far off, but reasonably far off. And it would only be like first stage base building if they did do something like that. It would be first tier. Yeah, there's the sort of stuff they do want to show. Quite genuinely, I know you're being slightly sarcastic, but looking fit and healthy, soldier. Videos are entertaining. Indeed, thank you very much appreciated. I do appreciate the love. When do you think we will see the Redeemer flight ready? I think we can see by the end of the year, as I said. Any word on speculation or whether regular NPC ships spawn, security, and Ninetales will return in 3.9? I would expect them to, because they need to be security ships to be able to put people in prison, as far as I'm aware. So I would expect to see them try to re-implement some form of NPC ship spawns and security forces. Right. In a minute, I'm going to dash off because I want to check on my dad and my mother. I'm sort of like more coping with my dad. It's a fucking shit situation to be in. So for people that don't know, I'll say this before I go. My dad was recovering from cancer. It looks like it's moved to his brain, unfortunately, which is just a bit shitty. So we're having to care for him at home, and he's having to stay here now. And we don't really want to. Well, the hospital don't really want to look after him or take him. We don't want to send him to hospital either, and even if there wasn't the global situation on at the moment and the NHS wasn't super burdened. But we are getting, they've just started sending nurses around and helping us, which is fucking great. That is great, because the last week or so, I haven't slept very much at all, and I'm tired, and I was worried that I was going to have to look after my dad, and I don't have that kind of care experience. My brother, he is easy to maneuver. He'll help and grab onto you. My dad, sometimes he can't move. Fucking rough. And he's just a bit stubborn as well. He sort of wants to do it by himself, but he would just... The first time I gave him a bath, he was in the bath for like 7 hours after the bath had ended. Oh my god. So hard. Because he doesn't want to move either. But yeah, sorry. We are managing now. And we've got help that we needed. We're getting a CAT scan to see if he'll respond to some quality of life medicine. So it's rough. It's going to cause some disruption on the channel because I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be stressed, and I might be like erratic certain days to create videos. Just bear that in mind. But again, conversely, it's one of my outlets for my stress and my anxiety, and I like to be able to talk about situations like that because I do appreciate all the love. Thank you very much. Thank you. But it's something that's going to happen to a lot of people, and it's something you have to deal with in life. I'm not special for it. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just telling you how I feel it and how I see it, and I appreciate appreciate the kindness, and I appreciate the love, and I appreciate the sympathy. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate all the messages, but there's nothing anyone can do to make that situation better. And we are coping. It's just shit. It's a shit time to be ill. It's a shit time for everything, like medical wise. And it was never going to be a good time anyway. Even if we had the best healthcare in the world, and the system wasn't overburdened, and there wasn't a risk of getting COVID, whatever the fuck, we'd still it would never be a great time. But I do, yeah. Thank you. Oh yeah, God, yeah. My dad is not the most communicative person. He is emotionally a bit special, shall we say? He's very sort of like, he shows his love with actions. He's the most dutiful person I've ever known. He has basically given his life effectively for his family and worked since he was like 15 years old up until he was 62, I think. Pretty long time work. He's a good man, my dad. But not great at talking or communicating. But thank you very much for the comments. I just want people to be aware. Any idea if they're going to do any rehash of Dumb's Depot? So yeah, I would expect them to obviously add different components and stuff there. Other ways to interact and buy stuff. You might be able to buy secondhand ships and parts there as well in the future. Just because, okay, so I'm gonna represent both points here. People that say there's lots of fudsters around, people that say there's lots of starters and hate. Sometimes people have an opinion which gets identified as FUD or hate or whatever, but there might be a good point behind it, or they might not be being that, or they might be asking a genuine question. So feel free to ignore people, but I wouldn't tar everyone under the same FUD brush or anything. It's fine to be critical of Star Citizen. Why not? It's fine to enjoy and love Star Citizen. I love the project. I don't always love the game when it's crashing on me, when I'm stressed, when I'm trying to make content on it, and sometimes I get quite stressed at it, and sometimes you can be quite critical of it or whatever. But I love the project. I love it, warts and all. I love the community. I love the game on paper, what I believe we're generally going to get a finished game for. But some people are not overcritical. Some people are just going to troll. Some people are just sort of like, I hate stuff. I don't even mind people always being negative as long as they're being civil and reasonable with their criticism. That's fine. Don't need to always be positive or always be negative. Somewhere in between is always nice. But yeah, just as long as people are civil, I don't really mind. I don't really mind what your opinions are. And I feel it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to listen to other people's points of view, and if you don't agree with them, and you shouldn't really be trying to convince anyone constantly of something. You should sort of like be willing to listen and go, okay, well, cool. I know your point of view. This is my point of view. Cool. Yeah. I think some people's sugarcoating is other people's being enthusiastic. That's what I'd say. One of my mates was going through one of the more trolly sections for Star Citizen that is much more aggressively anti-Star Citizen. And they mentioned me, and there's sort of like a weird conflict with some of these groups where they're like, oh, he looks like a fucking potato, and he's a shit, he gets paid by CIG, bleh. And other people going, no, Bord's actually quite a nice dude. Like, he's just on board with Star Citizen and likes Star Citizen, so isn't critical enough, and things like that. So I like this sort of like, even in the places where people would consider fudsters to live, that people still say, oh no, Bord just likes the game. I like that. I do like the project. I often like the game, and sometimes I don't like the game. Sometimes it stresses me out. Right. Thank you so much for everyone giving me a fuck ton of money today, and bits, and donations, and subs. It's very much appreciated. Rowan Arrow, you star amongst men. Sergeant Lobster, Red Huntress. Oh my god, that's just so much money. Jane Cattrall, Harry Johnson, who I will check out your email of in a second. Christopher Grump, thank you very much. I'm not sure what Ron is, but I will accept it. It will be more valuable than the pound, I bet, soon. McStuffins, Dalamars, Harry Johnson. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Ivy Mike. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hanneth Com. Mantis giving loads and loads of subs away to people, you monster. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated. Oh. Yeah, it's pretty useful. So I'm hoping that we see 3.9.0 go to wider PTU later today, but I'm going to be saying that every day until we get it. I'm so surprised we don't have it yet. Star Citizen, yeah, slow burn development, stressful times at the moment for everyone. People are in lockdown, people are bored. We want something to play, and is Star Citizen the game to play during lockdown? Well, for some people it's going to be, but if you want a more stable, less buggy game, Star Citizen is not for you yet. It is an alpha. That is not an excuse. That is a statement of fact. And that means it's not going to be appropriate for people to play that aren't prepared for its buggy nature, its unfinished nature. And if you are going to play it, and you want a bit more than Star Citizen has to offer, get involved with an organisation. Get involved with those sort of like organised events, because you can have a fuck ton of fun. Thank you so much for watching. I love your faces. I'm going to dash off now. And I will see you next time I stream. Actually, I've got a video ready to go out on the Pillar Talk and a bit more context and a bit more information on Star Citizen news. So I'll get that out as well in the next hour or so. But thanks so much for watching, guys. You take care and peace out. Oh, we will go and never-ending ending of my Twitch stream / stream in general. We'll go and host someone. Is Noodle still on? We will go and host Super Mac Brothers Ryan, because I love his fucking face. He makes good content. That's me. I was going to host me then. Mining and Chill is what he's doing. Good man. Give Super Mac Brothers... no, I need to raid him. That's great. Bam. Thank you so much for watching, guys. You take care. Peace out. And, yeah, love you. Don't worry about me.